Hi, ninth graders. You're here with Mrs. Johnson, Mr. Craig, and Mr. Nelson. This is video 1, simplifying the expression. It is a review. Let's take a look at the first problem. We have 12 plus 8x plus 4x squared minus 3 times the group x plus 4 plus x to the second power. Remember, when you see the word simplify, which I'm underlining, that means we're going to get rid of all parentheses and we're going to combine like terms. We have to follow the order of operations. You all know that the first thing in order of operations is parentheses, and we have some parentheses right here. I'm underlining where my parentheses are. I'm highlighting them. If we look at x plus 4, there's nothing we can combine here. So we checked out our parentheses, we're moving on. The next step in the order of operations is exponents. We can see some exponents. We have 4x to the second power and x squared, but those aren't exponents that we can simplify because they're attached to a variable. So exponents taken care of. Time to look for multiplication. We have a lot of multiplication in this problem. You know that this is really 8 times x, but this is all one term. The place we're going to look for our multiplication is here where we had our set of parentheses and we have a number that we can distribute. A lot of us might be thinking we're going to distribute 3 times x and 3 times 4. I'm drawing my arc from 3 to x and from 3 to 4. But we would need to make sure that we are more precise. This is not a positive 3, this is a negative 3, which is why I am putting a box around it. We're going to multiply negative 3 times x. And negative 3 times positive 4, that's going to give us a negative 12. It's quicker and easier to write it as a minus 12. And then we'll bring down the rest of the problem, keeping everything in order.
Man, Miss Johnson, you have horrible handwriting.
Yeah, well, I'm left-handed. It's just kind of the way of the world. Only thing that we have left is addition and subtraction. So we are at the end of the order of operations. We didn't have any division that we needed to worry about in this problem. In order to do our addition and subtraction, we're going to put all of our values in order. Mathematicians have an order that they like the best, and that's to put anything with an exponent before anything without one. Well, what do I mean by that? We're going to put this 4x squared at the beginning of our expression, and we're going to take the plus x squared to the beginning as well. These are like terms. They both have an x to the second power, so they can be combined. Next up, we're going to take the 8x. That does have an x. It has a variable, but it has no exponent. It is not like our x squared and our 4x squared, but it is like our minus 3x. So that's the one that will come next. And then last, mathematicians like to put the constants. So we'll have our 12 and our minus 12. Now that our like terms are all together, it's time to combine. We have 4x squared and x squared. Remember, this is 1x squared. So when we add them together, we'll have 5x squared. When we look at our next two like terms, we have 8x minus 3x. So that will be 5x. And our last
Plus or
two.
minus?
What,
Plus?
Mr. Craig?
Plus or minus? Plus?
Since this is positive 8 minus 3, this is going to be a positive 5x because our 8 was bigger. At the end, we've got 12 minus 12, which is 0, and nobody is going to take the time and energy to write that. So our final simplest form answer will be 5x squared plus 5x. Mr. Craig will insert joke here.
La, la, la. All right, next.
This next problem, again, is trickier than anything we've given you in the review. We're going to look for the same things. We're going to check out the order of operations, which Mr. Craig is writing for us right now. We do have sets of parentheses. If we look in each set of parentheses, there are no like terms to combine, so we'll move on. We do have one little exponent, but again, it's not an exponent that we can simplify. So now it's time to look for multiplication and division. We do have multiplication. One set of multiplication is easy to see. It's here in our first part of the expression. 9x times the group x plus 5. We're going to use the distributive property again. This time we have to remember about multiplying exponents. We have 9 times 1, which will give us 9 for the coefficient. But remember, if I have x times x, that's going to be x to the second power, x squared. Now when we distribute our 9x to our 5, 9x times 5 will be 45. So we'll have 9x squared plus 45. There's actually another set of multiplication. Did you notice the second set of multiplication? This says minus the group 4x squared plus 4x. But we need to remember that there is a 1 right here. This is minus one group of 4x squared plus 4x. We have to distribute this negative 1 to each of our terms. Negative 1 times 4x squared will give us minus 4x squared. Negative 1 times 4x will give us minus 4x. And we'll bring down our plus 3. We had no division, so it's time to look at addition and subtraction. And it's time to put our terms in order. Remember, we want the terms with the variable and the exponent first. So we'll have 9x squared minus 4x squared. Then we'll have our minus 4x. It has a variable, but no exponents. And last, we'll have our, we'll have our 45x squared. Sorry, 45x. My tiny whiteboard lied. Last, we'll have our constant plus 3.
Whee!
Time to combine. We have 9x squared minus 4x squared. That'll give us 5x squared. Our 45x minus 4x will give us 41x. We'll do 5x squared plus 41x plus our 3, our constant with no like term. Our final answer, 5x squared plus 41x plus 3, is simplest form. No joke from Mr. Craig this time.
And that ends video 1.